Well, good evening. This is your good friend, the Lone Stranger, here with another edition of the Sometimes Show. And on this cold, cold Colorado evening, and it's cold, cold in a lot of other places. It's cold, cold in Austin, and it's cold, cold in New York City, out in Queens there, and a lot of other places. And by daybreak, it'll be a -3 here. Right now, it's -1. So it's a good time to think of one of my favorite tales of really cold weather. Now, I have here a copy of a poem written by Robert W. Service, and I will refer to it from time to time to refresh my memory. But the guy that really knows the story better than Bob is the guy that told it to him in the first place. And guess what? That was me, the lone stranger. So here we go with the cremation of Sam McGee. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold, and the northern trails have secret tales that would make your blood run cold. And the northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was the night on the marge of Lake Lebarge I cremated Sam McGee. Now, Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. And why he left his home in the South to roam around the pole, God only knows. For he was always cold, but that land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell. And he'd often say in his homely way he'd sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day, we were mushing our way o'er the Dawson Trail, walking cold through the parka's fold, it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we closed, lashes froze, and sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun for anyone, but the only one to whimper was McGee. Now, that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed and the stars overhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me and Cap says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no. And he says with a sort of moan, it's the cursed cold. It's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet 'tain't being dead. It's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. Hell's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I would not fail. And we started on at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh, and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. And by nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death, and I hurried hard driven with a corpse half hid I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true. It's up to you to cremate those last remains. Now, a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb and my heart, how I cursed that load. In the long, long night, by the lone firelight, while the huskies round in a ring howled out their woes to the homeless snows. Oh God, how I loathed that thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow, and on I went till the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. The trail's bad and I felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in. And I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin, till I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw in a trice it was called the Owlet's Maid. And I looked at it, and I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum. Then here, said I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared, and the furnace roared, such a blaze you seldom see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled to my cheeks, and I don't know why. And the greasy smoke and an inky smoke went streaking down the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, but the stars came out and they danced about ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked, and it's time I looked. Then the door opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile you could see a mile, and he said, please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Since I left my home down in Plumtree, Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold, and the northern trails have secret tales that would make your blood run cold. And the northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was the night on the marge of Lake Labarge. I cremated Sam McGee. Well, wherever you are, if it's cold outside, I hope you can stay warm. And this is your friendly cowboy, the lone stranger, wishing you adios. So long. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. Till we meet again. Night.